Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back. You saw the thumbnail. If you're here, this is installment 4. If you're here, there's nobody to blame but yourself. Welcome back to the Stream of Consciousness series. This is the Bruce Overhaul program, and this is the one. This is the one. You know what? It's happening. In this one, it's gonna happen. How much fabrication will we document? I don't know. That depends on where the stream of consciousness takes us. Look at that rake. Look at that rake. But if you go, there's no rake. I'm not applying that much pressure. I'm applying what I think is around the pressure of this, these, and I couldn't stop myself. Only took multiple tries from Amazon. They lost the first set in 4 minutes. It said, your item is shipped. 4 minutes later, package has been delayed. All I can figure is they put it on a truck in like Connecticut, and then the guy realized, oh, yeah, I'm nowhere near that. Because what I had done when they were taken off, and I may have done it during an episode, I was like, would you like to know what I need in my life? It's that. It's that. We will determine the height. We will determine where we want this to sit. I did a little loose eyeball there. It looks like I'm probably going to have to do some drilling to take that out of the door. I'm absolutely fine with that. There are things that I wish. Like, if you could open these before this, I would just make the little triangle mount that comes off the door, and then you would swing that door out of the way, but it doesn't work that way. I feel like, again, the stream is just flowing. The stream of consciousness is flowing. I feel like it's going to have to swing this way, out of the way, to be able to open the door. And I still have not determined yet whether or not we will be able to use this. But I think we will. What it's really going to come down to is, can I reach it? Like, if this... We need to get this mounted. We need to get this mounted, and we need to get the depth sorted. And in order to do that, we have to detach the plate and the little gubbins off the door to get this setting, because we're just nice and smooth across here. I feel like we're going to be right about there. And then this would go right about, even if we go centered with it, right about there. Yeah, maybe. So first thing that need to be done is we need to set the depth on this. In order to do that, we're gonna use a little bit of trickery, which is, we know the spacing on these. They are mounted in the vehicle. You saw me knock them in with a hammer, and then I put Bruce completely back together. Getting these out is going to be a real treat, and they're going to have to come out at some point because we have to drill them, and I don't trust drilling them. They're gonna have to come out, aren't they? What I was looking at is this. Come on, give me a focus. Give me a focus. See the little drop down? Concernicles. Because I want this to be even with the top. And that's gonna put it, well, because we're popped out, we might maybe be able to get away with it. I did cut this long, as I mentioned. This is a substantial piece. See, what I can do is find the middles, make the marks. Like that's close enough. That's close enough. We're building a bumper that's going to have to hold less than its own weight atop that bumper in these, and I'm okay with that rear weight. So what we're going to do is we're just going to loosely line that up. That looks about right. And we're going to... Okay. So now, that should line up just like that. It does. And then we're going to need to... We're basically going to have to go right like that. We're going to have to go right like that. And I will see... Does that line up? It does. It does line up. Then we will double down on it This is how we double down. We get ourselves a ruler, and we measure outside to outside is 69 millimeters. Now, can we flex them and make it 70? Because I would prefer it to be 70. Yes, we can. I was slightly out of frame. We give it a little bit of one of those. I would much rather find the middle of 70 millimeters. So we've got 70 millimeter outside to outside, and then inside to inside is 53. Differential of 17, 8.5. Oh, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. We get to do this. We get to do this about 5 times because I have enough to cut quite a many of these. How many times would I like to do it? I would like to do it once, just once. Because this is 8.07. This is 8.05. I'm measuring the size. Can you see my reflection in the windows? And then they are 8.5 wide. Is this 8.5 wide? It is 8.5 wide. That's where we get the 8.5s from. So half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. That's not ultimately helpful. What we're going to try to do is get that 70 millimeter differential. I'm pretty sure I cut this to a fixed length. I did. It's 210. Anybody else out there? 70, 140, 210? Did I do that on purpose? Did I potentially do that on purpose? Can I set this ruler? And by ruler, I mean slidey guy. And by slidey guy, I mean caliper. Can I set this caliper too? Oh, that's a good morning. 70.00 and go. Yep. So we need 74 1/4, right? Half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. I don't know how good the microphone is going to do the job of today. Its name is JD. If you can hear a sound that is not a fan and is not me, it is JD. He's very small. His ears are very big. He thinks that he is the biggest beast ever to roam the plains, and he's a cartoon. He's a cartoon. I'm not a big dog guy, but JD is an absolute cartoon. So what can we get away with? That is right up against the metal. But we're sticking it out. Instead of 4 1/4, I'm going to go 5 millimeters. That's how we're going to do it. Yep. What I like to do is I like to encourage his bad behavior. And he barks out the window of the neighbor's house because he's about this big, but he's long, and his ears are about that big. They're as big as his head. I say he looks like Gizmo from Gremlins. Whenever I walk by, I like to give him a little, yep, and it drives him nuts. Drives him nuts. Small dogs are hilarious because there's no. I am flanked on both sides by the least threatening canines one has ever seen. Whatever JD is, he's like a little fluffy sausage that's long and narrow, and his ears, like if you grabbed his ears and pulled him out like that, his head would legitimately be like a foot wide. But his actually head is this tiny little peanut of a head. And then on the other side, it's a Frenchie that goes, you know, as Frenchies do. And its name is Tater. And sometimes Tater gets out and gets into my yard and tries to be threatening. Tater thinks these are the hands down most terrifying thing Tater has ever seen. They took Tater on a walk one day, and if you'll believe this one, someone had abandoned a roller skate on the side of the street. Tater couldn't determine a path to get around that roller skate and was just losing his mind. Because, you know, obviously, I mean, roller skates, right? Now, we got to determine, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? The best way to do this is to drill the holes in here. I'll do them 2.5 millimeter. We'll drill them 2.5 millimeter. And then the best way, we're just going to do this. We're not going to do this the best way. We're going to do this the dumbest way. Climb aboard. All right, 2.5s that appear to me to be as close enough as to be 5 millimeters from the top of the eventual future bumper. Now, I said that we're going to do this the worst way that I can think of. The worst way that I can think of is I'm going to hold it manually in what looks to me to be the middle, right there. I'm just going to I'm trying to leave a dimple because a 2.5 millimeter hole will not accept an auto punch. So I just need to make a dimple. For as I said, we're not doing this the best possible, most precision way because that's not the way we built the front bumper. And I want to keep some sort of evenness here. I looked at what I approximated to be the center of these. How close do we look? We look close-ish. Now, there's every chance in the world that we're going to stick this bumper on and it's going to be like that. Oh, I countersunk those because I don't want button heads on the bumper. We are going to use, for setup, we're going to use alloy M3x14 flatheads because I have a lot of that size. I often order replenishment packs from McMaster and I order the wrong one. I order the ones I don't need. I'm almost out of stainless 10s and I bought alloy 14s instead. It just has to be reasonably straight. And when that second screw goes in, we'll know if it is or not. Don't even need mud flaps with this bumper. Now, look at this. I know, I can't believe it either. And what I learned just mere moments ago, check this out. Tinny hammer. Okay, let's not leave the wire trapped in there like that. Luckily, we can take those screws off to get that out. That is not bad. Oh my goodness. What are we looking at tilt-wise? Okay. All right. It looks a little high. Look at this. Yeah. And now perfectly level across the back there. Now, does that pivot bar fit? Did you lose the pivot bar? Bruce. Okay, just got to remove the stuff from the door. And I think what we're going to end up doing, I don't want to remake this piece. Why does it seem like I feel like we're going to, oh no, we got to put the lights on. The stream of consciousness, it runs ever deeper. Are we going to have to cut? What are we going to have to cut? How are we going to incorporate this? I don't just want to use those like screw-on type light bugs. I kind of really want to retain these. I don't mind if we've got to get into a little more complex cutting on the rear bumper because 6061, it's going to cut on the bandsaw super easy. This is where we're at that spot. We're at that spot where I look at it. We're deep in the stream, and I'm like, what do we do? I don't even want to cut. I'm not thinking about the spare tire mount. That should be pretty easy. I think the one that it included is going to be too short. Let's find out. Well, first off, why would you use an M3? Okay, hold on. Hold on. The fitment of this piece. The fitment of this piece is terrible. Like, it doesn't even sit down flush. But dang it, if it doesn't look like it holds it at just about the perfect position. It's out a little more, but we have to. I've got to get this back door situation. I got to figure out how this comes off. So I could tell you where we've been, but honestly, it's probably easier to tell you where we are. Rake. I did indeed. You can see they're off the door, 3 little pieces. The intention is to make a disc, copy over the notches to the disc, punch everything into that disc, mount the disc onto the back of the spare tire. That is the goal. I did a little bit of cutting. We definitely shaped this out to kind of the fit in the way that we hope it would. And I only lost one of the taillight lenses for about 10 minutes. And the cap has developed that chunky in it, so it keeps resealing itself. Every time I use the glue reseals itself. Glue is great, but I don't think glue is ultimately going to be enough to hold this together the way that I want it. But what it will do is it will hold it for now. I have not even touched the piece of metal for the receiver, but the area where we ordinarily go is bone dry, so so that shouldn't be a problem for a bit of a while. And I think what we'll do, I think the easiest way to go about this is to not paint anything. That way, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. This is kind of what I had in mind. I had to leave the top for the swing arm, so that's not too bad. And what we'll do is, there's little holes already in here. I'll choose something, and here's the real short of the long of it. The recording which you are witnessing now takes place in a relatively close proximity to the next trailing episode, and I would like to get him together prior to that. Seeing as we're pretty close. We're pretty darn close. So we will get, I mean, the only thing, oh no. The only thing I put up on the whiteboard was Bruce rear bumper. Bruce still doesn't have a rear bumper. Well, he kind of does. I have most of the parts of it here in my hand. Glue would actually probably hold this, but we're gonna put nuts and bolts through it. Probably right about now. Yeah. So when I sanded these off, the intention was, I thought I was going to be bolting them to the front, and then I was like, if you put them on the back, it'll be a lot cleaner. And then I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. Would I want those to be flush? So when I sand them off, I'm going to go there and there and there and there. And we're just going to put 4 holes through it. But to make it look a little bit more okay-ish, follow me down the stream. We will go right about even with the LED. 8.5 millimeters. It is neither piano nor rocket. So this doesn't have to be precision. all I would ask is that they're in a relatively straight line across, so it doesn't look wonky. So we'll do a little scribe. Leaves a nice little sharp edge there. We'll do the same on the other side. Double check. We'll make sure we're not gluing. Yeah. And then here's how we triple check. We go from the top. That's a known distance. 16.7. 16.7. Good enough. We'll take the punch, and I will go. Well, there are mold marks. We're just going to use the mold marks. How's that sound? Sounds great. Because I robbed you a little bit of some of the stream of consciousness. What can I say? The music was loud. We were rocking. So we will pre-drill, and then what do we think? Smooth it? So, like how we've got countersunk? Yeah. Let's countersink them all the way across. Let's close the glue, and we've learned from prior experiences, always cap your kicker. So I had grand plans, and luckily I was quick enough to stop myself before I attempted to execute those foolhardy grand plans, which is, you can't countersink those. That material's about 4 millimeters thick, 3.5 millimeters thick. And if we put a countersink in that, it's going to, just going to icky blow out the backside. There's a plug in this, and I'm afraid I'm going to shoot the goo. So we will I drilled it 2.5, could have drilled it 3, but while we're at it, just run a tap through. This will make it kind of easier. Well, you know what we can try? We can try something dumb. The dumb stuff, that is the zone that we occupy most comfortably. Okay? So, if we get a little loose measure on this. 6 millimeter. 3x6 is pretty common. If we can find 4 3x6s, 1, 2, 3. I would say that's probably 4. It is very difficult to tell the difference between an M3x5 and an M3x6 just by glancing at it. But we will hope. We'll hope for the best, because maybe we can do this even cleaner. As we tapped it, I ain't mad about it. I ain't mad about it at all. Even better than countersunk, I was like, we'll drill it all the way through, and then we'll put a lock nut on the backside, or alternately, we'll just screw these bad dogs on. Have I worn out an M2 already? Oh man. I go through, I would say realistically, like 1 a year. And I don't hold that against MIP. I wouldn't hold it against the manufacturer of anything. A lot of tools, like the microcut scissors, maybe 2 years out of a pair of those. It's at longest a year out of a set of Hakos. Usually, really, realistically, 6, 7, 8 months. And then I cut something I'm probably not supposed to cut with it, and I tend to break it. Just snap the jaws off. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty clean. Came out on the 6, and now those definitely ain't coming off. Now I have salvaged the lenses from the other guy. Can pop those in. Okay, we're bringing it to life now. The only thing that hasn't been sorted out is a lot of it. Off the top of my head, though, is the fuel cells. I think we've got the mechanism for the spare tire decently sorted. So we can probably make sure nothing is hanging up on that. It was the shortest one I could find that was pre-wired. I genuinely, I did not have it in me to solder up another pigtail, as I had soldered it up and it just blew out, man. These definitely have resistors. Every light and every piece of wire is different on him since the last time he was on the trails. You know what? I'm okay with that. I kind of like it. Kind of like it. I couldn't tell. I was like, do I want the bumper black? Maybe. A little piece of masking tape over the lenses now, because the lenses are tough. I should have put the lenses in before I put the thing together, but then what if I have to take the lenses out again in the future? We've got the swing arm. Of course, you knew. If you didn't know, I think you actually knew that there was no chance of me successfully using the other piece. It was far too short. So, in the eventuality, I think it's the same for both, yes. In the eventuality that we need additional stiffening, it is spare tire on this side and the fuel cells on this side. It goes just like this. We can put additional bracing for under the fuel cell. And I still haven't decided, do I want the 2 pointing out, or do I want the 1 in flush? 1 in flush is currently kind of leading, because let's see what we're working with. That's okay. Well, let's just let's throw a couple screws in it and see how we feel about it with the tire in. The tire mounting mechanism is, I went for as absolutely simple as I thought I could manage. And the screws for the tire bracket are countersunk, which saves me time and effort in the future, because the bracket will only fit on one way. And I'm all here for that. So we mount that so it mounts from the bottom 2 screws. It's a piece of aluminum that was cut out of the bumper, M4 straight through with a lock nut and a spacer, and then there's a wheel hex, and then it just bolts to the front. That's a spare tire mount if ever I saw one, and when it sits on the rig, it sits just like that. Did I get it over too far? No, that's perfect. I kind of wanted it even. I went off of this GFRC sticker on the back window. I wanted it kind of even with the outside edge. And now let's see. Do we like that? Or do we like this? Now if we go with this, the fuel cells stick out a little bit further than the tire, but I think dimensionally, I think that looks pretty good. I think that's more where I want to be. I'm also wondering if, you know, in the pipe dream format, when I make the disc to attach his license plate, so then his license plate will be right here like this, can we thread it onto this extra threading on there, or are we going to have to cut that off? I don't know. I don't know. I'm also wondering, now that I'm looking at this bracket, I'm looking at this bracket relative to this bracket. Very thin, beefy thick. I'm wondering if we can't just take this guy, tire on a generic plastic glue-on wheel, not glued on, just stuck on there. I want to go to a beadlock or a plastic beadlock, but like it doesn't really matter which. Bruce is about a 15-pound boy at this point, so if it's an extra like 30, 40, 50 grams for a beadlock, I don't care. But it honestly, it sinks right in there. And I left it tall, so it kind of leans it, so that the tire wouldn't try to lean on me. With that glue on, and I kept a foam in it so that it would just retain its shape, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Now what I'm wondering is, can I super glue this on here and then drill through into here and run some Vanquishy style? What do I have that's Do I have anything long enough is a better question. It did not make no never mind how much effort I put into trying to get this glued on here. It was not happening. I think you can see the shadow of where the drill went up through. There you go. Gosh. It ought to hold. It doesn't weigh anything. He says with great hope in his heart, I don't want any of this stuff to fall off. I don't like things falling apart on the trail. Rather than thread lock this, no, you're absolutely confoundingly right. Let's see if we can just get enough off the side here. The camera angle is, I repositioned the camera a day or so ago, and it is not correct. But we'll get it correct. Probably 2 washers, yeah? Washer above, as above, so below. So we'll put a washer above. No, I could use longer than that. We've got, that might be as much as 10 millimeters to thread into. We will use all that we can. Whatever it will give us, we'll take it. So we'll go an M3x16. I just want socket cap, and I want stainless, because I don't want this going south on me. Well, I could probably go to an 18, but I think a 16 will be just fine. I think, here's hoping, I have yet to assemble the whole thing. You're here at least for that. I didn't even really do a mock fit, except to check the clearance. We haven't drilled the holes through the mounts, so that if we can tuck the bumper in more, we'll do that, or if we need to slide it out some, we can do that. So we'll get this thing down to where it's snug, but not too tight. Ooh, that felt nice. That felt real nice. I don't really know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. Oh, also, a little lead burial. Burying the leads. We'll put some little stickum on there so we don't, these come up pretty easy. Nigel stays in because where I mounted his bracket, there's a screw head that pokes against the fuel cell and holds it in tight. Or, ooh, I got a scale bungee cord right here somewhere. We could strap them down. Oh, I like that. Will that end hook? Oh. Wait. I don't think there's enough room to get it through. I would love to have these retained by the... Oh my goodness. Scale accessories, everybody. Are they necessary? No. Do they enhance your experience? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. If we can get this to hook, I might have to bend it, get a little plier action on it. This is how the stream of consciousness works. What are you working on? Don't remember. What are we doing? No idea. Oh, we're gonna make that. This camera angle's not doing it. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I do think I feel better about that. You know what? We'll rock it for today. We'll figure out how to get the cells on. We'll do that. That will come sooner or later, one way or the t'other. I'm not sure that that's going to be the final tire mounting solution, but it may well be. Let's see if I can get down here on the floor. I probably should have attached this before I put the rest of it on, but nice. Oh, once the notion of the spare tire was in my head, I was like, it's kind of got to happen. A couple M3x18s holding that thing on there. Now, wait, we got to see the whole regalia, right? So, we didn't even need to swing it out that far in order to, oh, we're latched. In order to be able to get the whole reason we had to do this is so we can get to the camera in there. I don't know if I can tilt this to show. Look at that. Yeah. And you're like, what am I looking at? I'm just looking into a hellish void. No, you are looking into a hellish void. Do I get the bottle? Yeah. Musu Black, which is like Vanta Black, but apparently if you know anything about pigments, if you're in the pigment game, the guy who made Vanta Black is apparently a proper A category a-hole and like wanted to license it for extreme amounts. So there's also a pink, like the world's pinkest pink. Musu Black is a very inexpensive alternative. When you put a coat of it on, you go, that doesn't look very black. And then when it dries, good grief. So his roof, the inside of the roof is absolute zero gloss now. And I did that primarily for the in-car camera. Because the roof is white and I put hobby foam on the inside to keep the rattling down, wherever the hobby foam wasn't covering the ribs in the roof, you could see daylight coming through, and I didn't like it. So hopefully this will be a reasonable approach. Oh, yes! Yes. Are the diesel canisters protected enough not to get sheared off of the bumper when we inevitably and invariably roll Bruce? I don't know. I can't tell you that. That's dang near perfect. Now, what we've got right there is we've got a hole that goes down, and that hole is from top to bottom 17 millimeters, and it goes right into the top of the light. So we can't go past 17 millimeters. So we need something about 16 millimeters long. But then what we need along with that is, I don't want it threaded. I don't just want to use a screw, because a screw is going to have a head that's too short, unless we use a screw that's pretty long. Let me drop this down. Because what I'm thinking is, you're on the trail. You need to get in there. How easy is that to get out? It's not great. It's not great. It is a good, nice fit, though. This is the part that I've been like, we could have made a latch. I want it as simple as possible. I would like a pin with a little knob on top of it. And I think I just figured out how to do that by looking at this little guy right here. So for the first iteration, here's what we're going to try. This is just a threaded spacer, and this is a big old set screw, and this is a nut to lock the spacer on, and that's going to go right like that. Because what I was wondering is, it's a little wobbly, but it's also kind of hard to get at. It's still kind of hard to get out. What is the solution here? Stream of consciousness, help me out. Because a genuine problem that I have is what I call non-prototyping. I try to make it. We made one effort at the bumper, and we have the bumper. So, see, if I turn it this way, I can't see. Drops right in. I think this might be the guy. Not this specific guy, but something like this. I'm basically going to reproduce what I've just made here with a servo spacer, a screw, and a nut. We need something about that long, a little flag or tab, because I can rotate that tab around and the tire will stop it from rotating out. And if we have enough engagement, if it goes down in far enough, it shouldn't pop out. If it does try to pop out, we'll figure out some sort of retention method. I had honestly thought on the little section right above here, I don't have one that's the right size, use an alloy screw and super glue a magnet to the back side of the bumper. Possible. It's possible. It's possible. So, let me see what I can fabricate that looks a lot like this. What do we want to make that What do we want to make that top piece out of? Overcomplicated? Who knows? Little piece of Delrin. Kind of shaped it up. This is a fairly long, treated, but probably not stainless. It's probably going to rust on the bottom. It's fine. It's into aluminum. Threaded through, and I wanted to leave the shank because hopefully, how did I do on the length? Real good, real good. I could have done about another millimeter longer. Thread that in, flip that around. It's held by the tire. We should be good. And we got a little. But if we're gonna figure that out, we're gonna figure it out in the category of time, colloquially known as eventually. All we need to do now is remove a wheel, because due to mitt size, getting behind there is not working. We're gonna pull this back as much as we can. I might have to undo the two, yes, might as well. We're definitely doing something approximating learning, which is, if it seems like it'll be a little easier if we remove some fasteners, just remove the fasteners. Pull out the 2.5 millimeter drill bit. There is nothing on the floor in the back of the rig. We know this to be a fact. Leg that guy out, go right through. Drill straight through, drill straight through. When we replace these, we will remove these, what are they, 10s? We'll remove these 10s and we'll put a pair of 16s. And if they come up through the floor a little bit, that's fine. If they come up through a floor a lot, we'll replace them with 12s. We flow like water. I want this thing, I want this gentleman on the trails. Tuck this back, and then we're gonna have a bunch of slack, but I didn't know, I didn't know how much slack we were gonna have. I should probably, oh. The old ones were not quite that tight. Let's snap it in the light. And, oh yeah. Loop that up like that. Now we'll pull the slack through. Just about like that. And then we'll do a back and forth, which is you pull both ends away from each other. And then we cut them back again. Put them into a bunch, and then we fill ourselves with regret for not getting the zip ties in advance. 3-4 more zip ties on the belly here, as everything has now fallen apart. I'm still absolutely tickled with the 100mm shocks, though by the time this is seen, Bruce will have been driven once, if not twice. But as of this recording, everything before you is an absolute question mark. We don't know. Is he now oversprung in the rear? The inserts have no runtime on them at all, so they're going to be very bouncy. The wife gives me the business every time I tip over on the trail. So you will know. You will probably have seen that episode. I'm almost positive you'll have seen that episode before you see this episode. So then you'll think back fondly and you'll say, "Oh, yeah, she was giving him the business." But we know that he was preparing for the future. You know, he's attempting to future-proof the big man. Get that up in the rail. That's not bad. I am 100% okay with that. And yes, I just saw it. All right. Now, all that we need to do is we need to look at where the tire is sitting. It's basically almost against the door handle. Those, you know what? It looks, we're just going to eyeball it. It looks even straight across. It looks straight across to me. So what we're going to do, set him on his side again. We're going to get that very same 2.5 or one that looks like it. I don't like that one. Get a couple different lengths. Come here. Come here. There we go. Buy them by the 10 pack because they go dull so fast. Then we're going to go okay. I'd like to state for the record, it should never take that long to drill through 8 millimeters of Delrin. So you know what? This is progress and growth, everybody. Right into the circular file. Grab another one. Do I have a drill sharpening station? Yes. Is it $8 for a 10 pack of these drill bits? Also yes. Straight through. Right here. Got into the leaf there a little, which means we need to really get long, bus. There, and very scientific. We always have the excuses preloaded in our back pockets. It's a trail rig, man. It's a trail rig. We can get away with some stuff. Let us get the chassis attached. Oh yeah. Many times, if it's running an 8 or a 10, and you've had to put it together, and take it apart, and put it together, and take it apart, a couple more millimeters. This is the beauty of Delrin. We're not even, well, we'd have to pull it to tap it. So that is threaded, that is drive threaded. That is going nowhere. Is there worry? Is there ever worry that we've made him too solid? Is he on the danger zone side of rigid at this point? I don't know. Probably. Have we sealed up around the shock tower so that we're just not filling the passenger compartment with trail dust? No. That we will get to. In everything. Let's go about a 15. Everything in its own good time. Bruce. Is he done? Are they ever done? Are they ever done? Luckily, when we head out without, yeah. Did those screws come through in the back? Let me, nope. Nope. Oh, they're just, the screws through the floor look like the screws through the back of the bumper. They're ever so right there. We've got a 42 hundo. Okay, let's see how easy this is to execute here. Lift that out. Right. Lift this up. Got to slap a Velcro down. Right there. How's this battery going to sit? Battery will sit right about there. Oh, we need a camera. I mean, is there a better way to adhere this down than to try to just stick sticky back Velcro onto the Caruga floor so that the Velcro is only making contact about half the way across, which is why it was so easy to remove the last piece? Sure, there's better ways to do everything, but this way is done right about now. Bosch Sony HDR AS100V. Look at the form factor. It is a shame that Sony gave up on this form factor. Hawk lock in there. One-handed operation. Feels pretty good. There's that guy in there right amidships. Close it up. Button it up. Close this side first. Lock that down. Close that off. Spin this around. We're going to want to put this on a lanyard or something so that we won't lose it immediately. And then watch the watch the spare tire swing around as we drive. We've got a, in the kit, in the roof kit, we've definitely got to introduce some spares. Now I'm wondering, did we get it far enough out to the side? I'm going to try it. I love when I make an utterly bespoke piece that's specifically made for a task, and then I'm telling you, it just, when have I used air? It just knows. It's like, he's into something. Is the hole close enough the edge to just put a body clip into? I might have a bigger body clip too. Not really. I don't know where that went. Body clip. Yeah, I think it'll fit from the inside, but not from the outside. Do I have any of the bent ones? Or ones with pull tabs on them? I think a bent one is probably going to do it. I think this one's bent the wrong way. I think we need it bent this way with the flat at the back. You know what, though? It's not terrible. Where's the case? Where's the bag? Where's the bag? Into the bag of spare body clips. The emergency body clip sack, which goes up under there. Then we've got the spare batteries. And a little foam receptor, a little snap-on roof case. That's what's in that case up there. He needs something else right up here. I don't know what that thing is, though. And we'll put this right in here, a little flag. And if anyone has an idea, we've got a hole 17 millimeters deep. We can't penetrate all the way through the hole because the light bucket is right under the other side of it. It is drilled out to 3 millimeters. We don't have a huge amount of meat on the other sides of it. I mean, I guess I could just turn something on the lathe. I could make a new pin that really fits tight. Get myself a 3.0 millimeter pin to really tight it out. But if we ain't gotta, we ain't gonna. And that's how that works. Let's grab Bruce's new radio. And while we're at it, we'll do the thing that we said we were going to do. We're going to swap them out for a big 38, which needs charged though. So we'll just pile everything up, shall we? For right now, we need to be able to power the radio on, and we go like. Do I like this? I think I like this. Just don't want it to hit the hood. Plug that in. That's on. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce has a checklist now, every bit as long. Has a checklist now, every bit as long as he would have had if we had made one now. The side indicators, that white LED is so much brighter than the LEDs that used to be in there. You can see it's basically just blowing all the color. That lens is not molded in that color plastic. It's white and it has like amber paint on it. So I need like translucent orange or something to spray over that, and I'm almost positive that I don't have any. Headlights look fantastic. They are alarmingly bright, and the roof lights are even more alarmingly bright. Look at those big guys. Painted with the chrome paint inside there. That's how we get the headlights so bright. And these are molded in the... These are molded in the color. So we get a little bit of blowout, but they look pretty good. What am I going to do? I'm going to put some hot glue on the back side of those. I do have black hot glue. Did you not know black hot glue is a thing? Black hot glue is absolutely a thing. We're going to get some paint on those. We're going to do a great number of things. None of them urgently, really. We're sitting up a little in the rear, but we're not sitting up a lot. And after I saw how many episodes back, how many socks bops ago, what Bruce did to a set of Injora Reds, in which he turned Injora Reds into Injora Blues, I'm not concerned at all. Yeah, these need more retention. Well, they need more retention because how much retention do they have right now? That's right, you guessed it, none. Did we get mud flaps on it? Nope. Pretend with me that there's a list. That there's a list of things that we need to do. Because if we wrote them down, it would seem like a commitment. This is my destructive method of putting these on because the tweezers kind of fit nicely into the two holes. You can, but it's probably scratching the wheel. But tightening them this way, there's really no worry about these coming loose on me out on the trail. I loved him on the Trial Vintage, and then the minute I saw him on these, it was a, well, there it is. These are GRC from AliExpress, and I mean, I would not recommend them for 90% of applications, perhaps more, but I wouldn't recommend Trepador for... How many different RC cars are there? If you have an RC car that you take on trails, and that RC car is between 1/6 and 1/7 scale, the Trepador might be the perfect tire. Does it have an off-the-shelf insert ready to rock and roll? Not really. Not unless you want to destroy the included single-stage foams. Is there a silicone that fits off the shelf? No. Can you make one? Yes. Can you glue your fingers to it? Also yes. But when you put them on here, they look so perfect in size, and they suit him so well that, believe it or else, take it as you will, I bought a second pair of them just so that I could put a full-size spare on the back. There's only one thing left to do. There's only two things left to do. There's only 18 things left to do. Thing number one. We got to get the postal scale out. We got to get the big dog, the Weighmax, because the Weighmax has a 75-pound capacity, and none of the other small scale scales, which way do I need to turn this? Probably like that. None of the other small scale scales will weigh Bruce in his full glory. This should be, nope, I pulled it out. That is now RTR. We are RTR. We just popped 15. 15 pounds, 2.6 ounces. This shenaniganery, he used to be 1405. So we picked up 1.2 pounds. Just over half a kilo. That is not unexpected. 6.87 kilos. We're sub 7 kilos, man. Hey, haven't I said on multiple occasions he's 6.87 scale? He's now also 6.87 kilos. I feel like that's fortuitous. He's got, as I said, the list. He needs his winch hooked, which means he needs a winch controller made out of an old ESC. He needs mud flaps. He needs more roof stuff. See? Already forgot everything else. Oh, some dust proofing on the interior. But he's definitely in a condition where he is ready to trail. And you know what? That little bit of weight right there. He's sitting higher in the rear by like, geez, 3 or 4 millimeters. It's going to break in real fast. It's going to break in real fast. We did it. We're taking something off of the whiteboard. He's got his bumper with his spare tire and his fuel cells, and it's awesome. Think along with me. Think back. We set out to make this bumper, and then all we did was change his shocks, inserts, all of his LEDs, all of his wiring, painted the inside of the roof black, firewall, full relocation and wire management under the hood. I'm going to stick this in here and then have to pull it back out again because I don't remember if it's charged or not. Look at it's clean. It's so clean. Battery. Boom. So good. Oh, we fixed the busted front end. We added a leaf. Man, we did it all. There's one thing Bruce needs more than anything else, which is nothing really. There's one thing Colin needs. Colin needs a partner back in there. Colin lost Nigel because Nigel got his own rig. We're going to find somebody. We need to find... Just look. I did that. We got to find Colin a lady to go on the trails with him. I found a lady to go on the trails with me. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. We'll see what we can find for Colin in the future. Bruce and Colin and I, we're ready, guys. We're ready. We are ready to trail. I don't think this will help overall fuel economy. Picking up another pound. You build a trail-specific rig, and it gives you different feelings. It really does. I'm kind of proud of the fact that it weighs 15 pounds because it's carrying 8,400 milliamps worth of batteries. This whole box is full of tools. He carries a camera. Oftentimes on the way back, we just put the GoPro and everything just slapped on the roof, and he carries that camera with him as well. We need more stuff dangling off the sides of the roof. We need more road scars and scratches on him. We need more good times. I'm seeing a little bit of bag out of the back of that tire, which is crazy with how stiff those inserts are. So, Bruce and I and Colin, we all completing the thought. We thank you so much for coming along with us on the Socks Bop journey, the Stream of Consciousness series, the Bruce Overhaul program. Guess what? Guess what? There's another Socks already in the works. But it is the Soxiop, the Eddie Overhaul program. Little teaser for people who've been here. Eddie is a straight axle Zoku Phoenix-ish for now. He's going to get these 10 Pro portals. We're going to go VFD twin to 10 Pro portal because we've never done that before. VFD twin to 10 Pro portal, and he's getting, if you're not aware of it, go look it up, Biddy Design Baja Ultra. It's either the RR or the Ultra. It's the one that's made for 4.75s. He's getting the full Baja from Biddy Design and 10 Pro portals, and we're going to see what happens. Because I can't make the F10 straights and the VFD twin sing for me. I love the VFD twin on portals, and I have been struggling and fighting and just trying to make it happen. And Gretchen, fetch is never going to happen. So I have another rig beginning the process of being built that will happily absorb those F10s because it's fitted with an OD3. OD3 to F10 straights is so nice. So they're going to do a straightabouts. That's going to be the next sock series. If you're interested in the sock series, good, because I just leave the camera running while I figure things out, and I have a good time, and I hope everybody else had a good time. We Midwest goodbye this one all the way into the ground. I've almost put all my tools away. So, thank you so much, everybody. Tune back in to see whatever we have coming up next. Bruce is sweater, I'm ready. Again, you'll have seen him in this configuration. Before you see him in this configuration, you get to be a time traveler. There's more stuff in this building than there ought to be. Ooh, TARDIS tie-in. So, thanks. See you next time. Bruce, wobble him out.